he opened California's very first home for the mentally ill.
Wow.
Called Milo Arms. And it happened in '69 when
Wow.
the government then...
And that was the first, wow.
The very first we were licensed. And since he came from being a comic, he didn't have enough money to get us a separate house. So I and my siblings, it was a converted fraternity house. We lived in the Den Mothers portion apartment. And then we had 12 men and one woman, so 11 men, one woman in the house. My mom cooked and cleaned.
Wow.
And my dad did radio shows over the PA system to make announcements and then announce breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Welcome to Reasons I Live Alone. And then I just wrote a book. I wrote a book a couple years ago, and then I'm republishing it because some new stuff has come to light, and I have a brand new publishers. I'm really excited about it because they're lovely guys. It's Rare Bird Publishing, and that is it's why
I think you should. What was it again?
It is called Surviving the Odd, the fine line between laughter and lithium. Welcome. I should call it Little Reasons I Live Alone. What I wanted to call it was I probably should be dead by now. But
Oh, yeah,
I just was like, no.
You don't want to tempt.
I'm just loving these guys I'm working with. I think a lot of new information came to light when my mom passed away in 21. We found a bunch of letters, including my dad telling my mom when he saw me he was going to wring my neck because I'd gotten my 8th speeding ticket in San Jose, and they wanted to pull my insurance.
I was worried you were going to say at birth for a second.
Yeah, me too. I was like,
I
wow.
know, at first when my dad saw
Welcome
me,
to
he
the
wanted to ring
world.
my dad something. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, I was like, no. So and a bunch of stuff came to light on while he was in the USO, how much work he did with the service members who then it was called shell shocked. And
That's right, yeah.
yeah, and so much of the verbiage in my book, what I wanted to do was do it of the time. And the term mentally retarded is a really pejorative term now. Like, nobody uses that. Well, you used it like water because it was in the Diagnostic Statistical Manual.
Right.
That is what it was called.
Yeah, well, retard just literally means to slow.
To slow down. And so they had all these levels, and we had mostly profound. That's what we did best. But you know, I found all these letters from 1942 and 1943. Dear Tony,
Oh, my gosh.
You know, we want to thank you for all the guys that had shell shock, all the guys in the hospital. Nobody else would come. You did the show. You sang a cappella, or you brought the trio to the day room, and I found that, and so I rewrote and said, I really think that my dad loved it. Show business, was really good at it. His comedy partner was Martha Ray. For those of you, she was known as the Big Mouth, and Kay Ballard was a friend, and
Oh, yeah, sure.
all of these people that went on, June Havoc. It was just a different time, and I think that
Oh, that's for sure.
it was what he did from the time he was 5, and by the time he was 50, that was it. It was enough. He wouldn't even get up to sing at events, and my mom would always prod him, you know, Tony, get up, and he was like, I'm done with it. And I think he probably was brokenhearted because there was no other place for a middle-aged man with Snow White Bonanza, like white Lauren Green hair, to go except TV. And he was too old, and then he was frail, and I think he did a wonderful thing, and it was called Milo Arms. And I want you to know that we had
Milo Arms.
we had a white Chevy van that said Milo Arms Board and Care Home, 297-3670, which was our home phone number, which until 6 p.m. every night, we answered the phone, Milo Arms.
Oh, that's fun.
I never had a slumber party.
Venus de Milo.
Venus de Milo.
Arms.
Just get rid of an arm.
Just-
There you
yeah,
go. How's
there you
that?
go. That's very
I know,
good.
and somebody had said when I did end my marriage, somebody had said, would you ever get married again? I was like, no, because the secret's out. Like, everybody knows who I am now. There's just you never know, like, you never know
Men
what's gonna
talk, okay? You know how they are.
it's very true. And I was like, I can't. Somebody has to come to me completely complete. I can't have any drama. It's like one of those, you know, I shot my sister. Okay, you have to go. I can't be with anybody else
yeah.
where I say, And the fun thing about my book, which is it is horrifically hilarious. I think so. I remember
Okay.
Ginny called me. She had read the first one and said,
For
"Oh my
those
God."
of you, Ginny McSwain.
Ginny McSwain, and called me and left a message saying, "Oh my God, this is unbelievable." And I said, "I know, but so everybody understands the comedy in the book is because who would give these people to us? Why would you think that my dad, like doing the hula, like when he got mad on the phone and somebody would be like, we're gonna pull them out of here, Mr. Milo. If you yell at them again, my dad would be talking on the phone doing like the Watutsi and the hula, going, yeah, I'm gonna come over there and beat you, put him on hold, going, I'm gonna kill this guy. Back, okay, well, we'll bring him by for a meeting on Friday. You I'm like, yeah, no slumber parties, not a lot of slumber parties, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of slumbering though.
A lot of slumbering
But
and
it
a lot of
wasn't- not-
issues.
not to party.
And that was a really heady time. We were on the campus. We were in a converted fraternity house that lost its charter on the border of San Jose State University, where my neighbor was a fish and chips, H Salt Fish and Chips and 7-Eleven, and then a
Perfect.
fraternity house on the other side. But it had the home had the requisite that you needed: one way in and one way out, and no sleeping rooms on the first floor so that nobody could sneak out their window.
Oh, okay.
And,
That's pretty smart, actually.
But yeah, we had
This is a big place.
we had one, and then after 2 years we moved next door, and my dad cut a hole in the fence and made so that he could get to work quicker. And I have a photo in my book where we were next door, where we could play Foursquare, my siblings and I, and you could see the guys looking down because they'd be the line judges, whether or not it was in or out. I have no idea how I have a kid, and whoever married, I don't know, but nobody knew. When my husband married me, he was like, what did your dad do for a living? He met my dad. He was like, I said, he was a businessman. And the last thing that my dad did was when he gave up the business, which he then tried to get back, which is the last part of the story, he had a liquor store in Oakland.
Nice.
Yeah, there you go. Something safe. And he, that's what I said. He had a liquor
Something safe,
store.
yeah.
And he said, yeah, but before that, and I said, he was in show business. Don't worry about those 16 years in between. And he said, where did you grow up? So I grew up in downtown San Jose, California, and we lived for 4 short years in Saratoga.
Yo,
and I
what
tell
up?
everybody,
How you doing, my brother?
Saratoga,
Scrub.
California, 'cause it's really nice.
Yeah, I just went live just a few minutes
I
ago.
just omitted, Jim. Is it
Watching this
really alive?
interview
No, you
with voice
omitted?
actors.
You were
I
from
was.
Saratoga.
Eventually.
Stoned as hell.
Yes, I
Nice,
was.
nice.
Eventually,
I'm on that way
I
as
was.
well.
And,
Yes.
On the
I
road
just, I think it's a
to
good book,
getting
and
stoned.
We're re-releasing. We're just gonna let all the drama of the election, all of that. Let's let that settle down. They
Some
were
Toll
asking
House
me-
cookies, nice.
I asked for a Christmas release.
Sounds
because
tasty.
I'd like to.
Troll
this,
House
I'd like
cookies.
To market it and
Sure.
be ready to say let's sell a lot of books so that I can get on a bestseller list. And
Yeah,
they said,
that'd be nice.
why don't we wait until
Very good
March
to see you,
until
man. Glad to hear you
everything
like
comes
the-
out, and let's let things
the
calm
jam
down
I
because
sent
they
you.
really believe that the market now is going to be
I put that
political
together
books, political thrillers,
pretty
and he
quickly.
said, let the
Maybe
market
like
get
an hour,
saturated.
2 hours,
No,
maybe
well, that's
at most.
because it's late February right now.
Yeah.
And,
so I think
Yeah, because I was
believe
listening to
me, as
Cabaret
I-
Voltaire recently, and I was like, damn, these songs would be would be sick for some fro bros.
But I think it's going to be great, and
So I just,
I always say
put together real quick,
Ramble, which is my
put some
prologue.
sounds on it,
Ramble is good.
Yes, and I say at the very
effects,
end, if you don't
and there it
believe me,
is.
I have fucking photos, and I do. I have photos of the house, I have photos of the guys, and I can use them because
It's got like a glitchy thing going on, not throughout the whole part,
and,
whole
I
song.
think that it's important because
but when it gets going, some of the
people did
glitch
step in to fill
starts
in the
coming in.
gap,
Turned out
and it
really,
was a
really cool.
misstep on everybody's part. This was not a red or blue decision.
Oh yeah,
This
yeah,
was
you
a
two went
state
live,
decision.
based.
It
I was
what
at
they
practice,
decided to do
sadly,
on
so I could
both
not
sides. I
so I could
have
not go live.
researched this for years.
Which
I'm
off?
really thrilled because
We were
I was
working over
talking to
some,
Ronnie Paulson,
some of our own
my secret
material,
boyfriend,
some
and,
new material.
he's wrote a wonderful book, and we were
So
talking
it's
about
starting off a
trying to do
really
something good
creative year.
with the knowledge that we
Let's
have
go.
about him being so lucky to survive.
Hell yeah, glad you guys like it.
Yeah.
And the humble beginnings he came from, and then mine with this odd
If you guys want to do half and half, or
show business.
if one of you
into
want to do
the
the
mental
full
health
track, that's up to y'all.
industry,
You can work
and
that
the
out.
more it became the complex
Or if you want,
that it became, and it
if you
did.
want like a verse repeated
Before
more,
that,
Well, a lot of it is.
so you could throw some more lines in there. I could do that as well.
Of people.
Thank
too.
you. And that's
Hey,
really
speaking
what
of
it
Perry,
was.
how you
And
doing,
that's
my
how
brother?
I presented it to my dad was,
Yeah.
Welcome,
we
bro.
said, we need some
Once
place
again, sorry
where-
for not being able to go live yesterday.
That's where the term came from. It's like they're
I was jamming
halfway
with my
in
band.
housing. We are releasing them.
Okay, good,
Some
good to hear
people
you went
have
live with
been
the
in
Scrote
a hospital their
and listen to
entire
that
adult
new
life. They
jam I
don't
sent you
read.
guys.
Yeah.
They don't like. They need skills, and so my dad got goodwill
Something
to come and pick up our
Something
guys
old
and
school
bring them to learn
electro-
how to
electronic.
fix Toasters. My dad.
a little bit of glitch in
That's
there.
great.
My
I mean,
cousin-
that really is wonderful.
Really,
I
truly,
really
my
liked how
cousins,
the
we had a
glitch
bigger
turned
house.
out.
So we had
Because the
3
plugin that I
houses
use
total.
for that sound
And
is
then we
very
did eventually move away, but the first one,
random. It's
the
very
second one we
randomized.
moved into also
Even
became
with
one that my dad had a
putting in the
called it
same-
building, the bigger building.
same
And
values on
My
everything.
cousin stole a
It'll
barber
sound different every single
and then
time.
have the barber
But
come
it came out cool.
there and teach and barber the guys and then teach them how to barber. And it was just like
Using
one
Reaper.
of those things where my dad was saying housing and a vocation. And
Yeah.
housing and a vocation.
That's very progressive for then, I would think.
Yeah.
That's very forward thinking.
And I
That's-
think that he thought that if they don't, they're going to be in the parks.
Yeah.
And now you see that's where it is because people are not willing to. In Los Angeles, it's impossible to live alone if you're not making X amount of dollars. And so kids have doubled and tripled up. It's still not
Sure.
working. You see all these unhoused people and you think, what can we do? You don't want to institutionalize them. No one wants that. It's a prison with doctors. So what we need is what I thought if show business doesn't get better, what I would probably do is I would probably open a home. I would probably, I know how to do it. Well, I know how to not do it. So
Yeah.
how to do it right. But I would love to, when the book comes out, work with the city of LA and say, here's what I learned in the 60s, and then it was all thrown out.
This lady did the
Backwater
voice for
sometimes.
Dexter.
And you know, my dad was very progressive,
various
but also his
Other cartoon characters. She's one of the
politics
big ones.
being practical. And it was in a purple household. We were a red household, and it was like one of those things where because it didn't matter, it wasn't. You
Jimmy
didn't
Neutron.
identify
Well, she
as
didn't
anything.
voice Jimmy.
All my dad said was, if we don't do something, they are all going to be harmed. That's all he cared about, was that they would be harmed. They would die in a park. They would.
Right.
It wasn't. They would overdose. It wasn't that. It would
Right,
be
right,
that
right.
they'd have no food. And the kids, the students around the area.
She was the
were
flea in
fed up.
Mucha Lucha.
After a while, there was too many houses as the fraternities.
Oh,
failed
yes, she was.
because
Here
it
we go.
became the 70s.
She was a lot of
there
the
too
characters
many,
on
but I think it's an interesting read. because
Foster's
it's my
Home.
take on
Grandma
familial and
Foster.
institutional insanity.
The cheese
And again, I'm
guy.
saying, why would they give them to
Chucky, I guess. Blue, too, really.
why they would give anybody. But we didn't get the normal ones. We got the most
You got the-
profound because my dad wasn't a doctor, wasn't close to being a doctor. Was
Coco, the
he was like,
flea.
I'll take that guy there. And the great thing is I have photos. So
Yeah.
Photographic.
Oh, okay.
have
Looked like
photographic
Crazy
evidence.
Frog, but
I was
no,
gonna
that's somebody else.
Souvenirs, evidence, or evidence.
Oh, no, that's not blue. That's,
I was really there. My siblings were there. We all had a lot of
The guy from
time
Chalk
in the
Zone.
game, and then I do remember
Snap,
saying
right?
that to my soon-to-be ex-husband. What did your dad do? He was a businessman. And before that,
Extra Nine's
he was in show
mom.
business. I was like,
Oh, okay. It was Nate.
not a lie, not the truth, but not a lie.
Or Nick.
Perfect.
Right.
Nick and
How I
Jimmy
live my
Neutron.
life.
That's
what,
right.
What size jeans
Cool.
do you wear? Not the truth, but not a lie.
Right.
Mediums.
Yes, there you go.
Medium.
Oh God, there was a line. What was it in 9 to 5? But what size shoe do you wear? And do you know the line I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Well,
She's pretty hot.
In a
Well,
good
she
shoe, I
was
think a
definitely
size 5, but a 5 feels
cuter when she was
so good
younger.
by a 7, and if a 7 doesn't work, 9
Yeah, but she's
usually
right
just
here. She's
about
kind of old now.
perfect. You know, because it.
But she's been around for a while.
5 foot. You know, and it's something
The chick who
like that.
did
So
Jimmy
funny.
Neutron himself,
Yeah, and I agree.
Was
I think that.
and
I don't know. And
she also looks like she could have
it's
been
why when
cuter
You and I talk and we laugh
when she was younger, but they're all like in their
look around the
50s,
room
pushing
sometimes
60s.
at the Lunacy in our sessions and say.
Still
I
would.
just don't have the energy to diagnose it, but probably could.
Yeah.
Like, you know, a little pink,
Foster's Home.
really good.
I think looking back, it's actually a really good show.
I think voiceover has been like the most fun.
I think
Yeah, it's
The most-
therapeutic too.
Yeah, it is.
I
but
might
you
have been
guys are most
overexposed to
like-
it. I was watching a lot of Cartoon Network at the
most
time,
like
so
my family. Like you're most
that was probably a show
like,
they were
I
rocking
know
with heavy.
You had met my dad. You would talk for hours. He would love you.
But yeah, undeniably
Loved you.
legendary.
You would
Looking back
talk for
now,
hours. He would
especially
show
since
you
there's
pictures with
no more
Hillary
cartoon
Armstrong,
Kino being made.
Calloway, and
We gotta
all
reevaluate the stuff
You would have
that was stinky.
absolutely loved him. Everybody that I knew.
or
Can't
or
imagine
quote
having a
unquote
picture with
stinky.
Tab Calloway or Louis Armstrong.
And
Actually
the
good.
Stooges and
Oh.
him and holding on to Rosemarie when they were like, she's got a big bow in her hair, and
Yeah.
it just is one of the Liberace was his friends until the day Liberace died.
Wow.
They were friends, and I opened for Liberace. At the
I think I might have felt
Flamingo when I
that.
was
You know, I was like aging. I was an
17
aging
or something, and then
And you were
kid.
I was singing.
Maybe
and
I felt that was
actually
too
have a
kiddie.
song that the Sherman Brothers
I don't know.
wrote for me called Piano Papa, and because I was so
It
tiny,
is a cartoon though.
I was little Candy Milo, and I played like I was 12 and I was 17.
What else was
or
going around
18.
in that?
But it didn't last very long. Seymour Heller was my very first manager, and it just was like a weird thing because he was moving into the direction of Scott and Up with People, and he was later in life coming out. I had never been with a more gracious, beautiful man in my life. He made an arrangement of the Sherman Brothers song. He got me a gown. They decided to have
shit.
a man open for
Goozy.
him.
All right,
And
so
then I got to keep everything. He and my dad were
yeah,
friends,
I
and
probably
was like, "She's
wanted
great.
to watch
She's
Kolyoko
really
more
great,
than
but I'm going to go in this
Fosters.
direction." And, but
or
my
whatever
dad
was
got photos
or
with
whatever
him.
was being shown on
It's all a showbiz.
the
He
remnants
would have loved it. He
Yeah.
would
of Toonami.
eaten you up alive
Oh,
because you're
God.
so.
Kind of sucked having that taken away,
You know,
but
because you're so
at that point I knew just to
musical,
stay
and you're
longer
so
for
into the
for
same
adult
kind of
for
sounds
Adult
he
Swim.
was into, and you know, he loved that Louisiana. He loved
Oh, yeah.
all of that. I mean, I'm sorry, he loved all Bayou
Yeah.
stuff and
Cam
and I just
Laszlo,
think
which I
that-
wasn't too
yeah
into.
and that's why he was on I forget they used to call this
Grim-
forgive me, they used to call it a bastard link.
Adventures of Billy
He was on
Mandy. That
RCA's
that is
Bastard
good,
Link,
though
and I
towards the
kept
end it
it
wasn't
on his little demo.
so good.
His 45.
Is that
great.
Chowder? Was that
I
04?
just think that's why I love
That's a great one.
voiceover so much is because
Yeah.
y'all are
That
like,
rises to
listening
the top, I think, one of the
Takari
best
talk and, I mean, I'm just
of
saying,
all time now,
You
yeah.
know, it's like one of those where if
I loved
you,
watching
if
that
you
show.
weren't in old show business like I was in via
Yeah,
my
sure,
dad.
sure.
You know it. You have an appreciation and a love for it.
Powerpuff
And that's
Girls,
what I like
Resurgence,
about
Ed, Ed and Eddie. Oh yeah, they were
being
doing like newer
Tom
episodes,
Kenny being
the more
on
sleek
Van
style.
Peebles, is everybody loves
Those were good.
Where we've come from.
Yeah.
Puffy
I know
Amiyumi, we were
you're
talking
always
about
pretty
that
old
kid,
movies, old
codename
black and white
Kid
movies that
Next
I
Door,
mean, I just
which
think about
that was pretty.
Yeah.
That was really
Still,
keen. That's a great show right there.
just on account.
Enjoyed that one.
Yeah.
BTV, thank you.
I remember seeing the
BTV.
first
It's
episode of
interesting
that.
hearing you guys talk nostalgically
That was
like
the-
this because I'm
Yeah.
thinking in my life, you know, I'm
The one with the
33,
Yeah.
and in my
Yak,
life, you know,
the
like, I did
Yak
grow up with,
brothers
like,
or
this deep
something.
reverence for film and
One has, like, a
television, you know, but it felt
Walrus
like
tux,
not
and the other has like a
my
yak head.
nostalgia. You know, when I think about
Right.
when I think back to that, it feels like my parents, specifically my dad, who instilled this love for movies and theater into me. But
Oh,
when-
05,
just
still
as we're
rocking
talking right
the
now,
same
I'm
from
looking
04
here, you know,
basically.
We're set up, and I can honestly say
Cartoon
YouTube
cartoons.
is like a huge
Huge.
part
The
of
pre-
like, my upbringing. Like I've been on YouTube watching videos
Pre-Adventure
since I was 14
Time
years
era.
old.
Yeah.
And I was obsessed with it from the day it came out. I thought it was the greatest thing ever. I mean, we had
I feel
Brandon Rogers on the
might have been
podcast. I'm not sure
after
if you're
this
familiar with
year.
Brad Rogers,
Gotta
and he
start
was
to-
the same
to
way.
get,
He was like, how is this not the biggest
that's
thing
stinky.
in the
When
world?
did,
Like, we can make our own content and just put it out there?
Barely,
You
it
are
was
my
like bare naked
daughter's age,
animals or
and
something
she
like that.
was all over YouTube.
Stupid
and she was
animals
like,
or
"Da, da,
something."
da, da, da," and we had talked about, me doing a channel, and I said, I don't have. I think with the book coming out, I don't have the self-discipline to like do something. And I said, she was like, do
Yeah, almost naked
structure.
animals.
Like, put
This
up
show was
three scripts
retarded.
that you would write.
Maybe
Not that
watching
you'd
it
write,
again,
that
it could
would
be
real
good.
Stuff. And she said, show them how to break it
My
down.
gym
show
partner
them how
was
to
a
not
monkey.
make
I feel like
mistakes in
this
a
one
group,
could have been
and
good,
blah,
but
blah,
there's
blah,
something.
blah, blah.
It just
And
didn't.
it's her. She could do it. Chris, in
Felt-
her
maybe I
sleep,
felt it was
she
kinda
like,
boring.
I can create it, and she runs my TikTok account, and she was like putting
Kinda
this
annoying,
up and
too.
putting that up, and I can put this up, and I can cut
The annoying
that, and put this on,
protagonist.
and
I don't know if I was so down with
say
that.
My childhood was colored by my dad. But
What
my
else would be something in
cartoon
this
childhood was
vein?
colored by
The fucking
Looney Tunes, and Three Stooges,
The Sheen
and then
show,
Fractured
Planet Sheen.
Fairy Tales, because that's the rhythm of my dad's comedy. That's the rhythm I grew up with. Like my dad's big expression was when he saw something that he didn't like, he'd look at me and he'd go, "They tell you," and we'd be
oh,
like,
that was
"Dad, don't say
the
anything.
okay, yeah,
Tell you
the
about this asshole right here. They tell you." And we'd be like,
Timmy
"Oh my
Turner.
God, look at my sister go.
Here we
He's
go.
telling us. Oh my God."
Jimmy Timmy
And then
Power
she
Hour.
would- We'd all just
And he
be
knew
doing
the guy?
this. Like,
Oh, that's the
"Oh,
year
he
the
just
movie
said it
came
again.
out.
He's
Nice.
gonna tell this waitress something, and I think that's why that's not my time. I mean, I'm a kid of the '60s. I grew up in the
Power.
1960s, and then my high school years were in the '70s. It's like that's not my nostalgia, but that is my rhythm. And
Barely.
so what I've done to my daughter, which I'm sure you've done to yours, is that I've instilled music. Like she knows the Eagles, she knows Linda Ronstadt, she
Yeah.
knows the Fillmore West, she knows the things that went up in there, because my television was MASH. I mean, I moved to LA. I moved to LA in '79 or '80, and then I've been here since. And I was like, I think that culturally, I went to work so young that my culture is gay nightclubs and cartoons. I went from singing in, because that's all who had nightclubs in LA. You couldn't go to a supper. There were no supper clubs. I could do my act, in West Hollywood on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday night.
Not many comedy clubs at that point.
Yeah, and you couldn't sing. You had to have a straight act. And I remember Mitzi Shore telling me, "You're never gonna make it. You're too cute." And I was
Oh,
like,
boy.
"Oh," and she said, "You're thin. Nobody's gonna want to. They're gonna. The act that follows you is gonna make funny. Their act is gonna be making fun of you for 10 minutes." And I was like, I couldn't get up. I tried it.
So what the heck you do now?
Right.
Gee, I
You
mean,
do cartoons, and I
Yeah.
think that was, and that's when they said when the marriage fell apart, I remember going in, they said, they struck, and now cartoons are only 4 hours. Remember when it used to be 8
Oh, yeah,
hours?
sure.
And she was like, "I think you should give it a try," and I just went all in. I was like, "Okay, here we go. I will do it." And I think that's what I like most about it, is that we all have this underlying language that we get, and the better voice actors pull from the 1940s and 50s, and the new voice actors pull from Britney Spears, and that's all I'm gonna say.
yeah.
And there's like a little, like the better new actors pull from Amy Winehouse, but most of them, their zeitgeist is very pop light. It's their
Yeah.
There's not a lot of
bumper sticker
yes
humor.
bam, yeah, and it's bumper sticker delivery, and they're watching YouTube to see how people act rather than being out among them. And I think there's something to be said for growing up without a cell phone.
Oh, I agree. I think that's part of our downfall.
Yeah.
Short attention span theater.
Oh my God.
It's like that's all that's out there now.
Yeah, and I think that it is amazing when you can turn it off. It was, my daughter just recently got married in October, and for 96 hours, people were not on their cell phones other than taking pictures.
Yeah.
And then we faced down. She got married in Santa Barbara. We stayed at a cute little hotel right by the pier. It was so beautiful.
Yes.
she got married at the courthouse. We had a little thing, and then every night we'd come back and sit at the fire tables in our section of insanity. They put us all over here in one spot, and we had the greatest time, not on our cell phones. And I said, I don't know what you do when you have a new kid now. What do you do? What do you do? Like that's I don't know. I just, it's not my problem no more. No my problem.
That's right. Yeah, gosh. Well, it galls me when you see somebody, at the mall or whatever, and there's a little infant in there and being very quiet, and they're on the cell phone.
Or on an iPad.
An iPad, yeah, and
man, we were in where were we? Somewhere in Europe, maybe London. I don't know. We went out. It was me, you, Katrina. Maybe Darian was there. I can't remember. Anyway, we went to this nice steakhouse, right? Nice steakhouse in Europe. Go out there. Yeah. And we sit down, and table next to us is little kid on like this rubber iPad, and it's blasting at like full volume in like, a dimly lit steakhouse,
right.
You know the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And this kid is like, you can see the glow from his screen, you can hear it. He's throwing it on the ground, like they're like, oh, and they just don't even look up from their conversation and hand it back to him, and it's like
that is how we are making compliant kids, and I really don't like it. But then I found out that when you go to school, no matter where you go, denominational, non-denominational, public, private, you are given an iPad to do your homework on. And
kids don't know how to type.
They don't
we
know
used
how
to have to take typing class.
Well, it's funny because I got my thank you note, which was so cute, and then I got a lovely Christmas card from my daughter with her new last name, and it's printed because she doesn't really. Her calligraphy is great, but
cursive
is gone.
Cursive.
Like
cursive
I said,
is long gone.
That's great is that we have like a secret code for kids today. I could write all about you and you can't read it, which is amazing. Which is amazing.
I think cursive died out with my generation.
Yeah, everything was typed. No, Gabby doesn't. Everything is typed, and everything is on these computers.
I'm back.
I say it'll be something.
My mom is making pickled.
But I do think that's what was great about not having
pickled cabbage, but not like with vinegar, just salt and water,
crazy making,
which is a different style of. It's fermented. There we go, fermented cabbage. She said a friend of hers made some, which she tried and tasted like fermented wine. It's very healthy for you as well. And it looks good.
And then I would go back every night and look at it.
There's just a bit at the top you're supposed to take off. It looked didn't look moldy. It just looked like it was oxidated.
Yeah, it drives me nuts.
And I guess you take that part out. She's dumbing out the liquid.
I want to say it was.
I'm just gonna put a new liquid in there. I don't know. There's a tasting process.
Corporation and it was.
But we're just doing it because we wanted to make use of some cabbage we had there. We thought, hey, why not? Got this huge jar. Maybe at some point we could do some mead. Who knows?
Barely live in the present.
Hey, what's up, Che? How you doing, my brother?
And he had a pencil and paper, and
we're doing all rolling.
I'm so sorry. I have to ask you, what the hell is that? And he said, oh, well, this is a pencil.
Two Stupid Dogs. Yeah, great show.
Pencil? Whoa, where'd you get that? He goes, oh,
from the '90s Hanna-Barbera era.
This, that, and you got to sharpen it like. And he was like,
damn, I would only be able to see that one in Mexico, typically, just because at that point they would be running newer stuff.
Goes, oh, that's addition. He said, what do you mean addition? You're adding on to something?
Two Stupid Dogs in Spanish.
It says like 27 plus 33, and then on the bottom.
You're fucking pendejo. Also, you're a dog, man.
Do you do that? And he goes, that's kind of a hobby. So can you imagine?
Yeah.
Arithmetic.
My farts are going to be lethal after fermented cabbage. So true.
Yesterday.
Well, it was fascinating.
The bois to end them all.
Where somebody went.
Hey, what's up, Chemo? How you doing, my brother?
Do it to activate my phone. That's here.
Right.
Hope everybody is doing all right and chilling.
I thought,
grilling.
oh my God.
Yeah, that blows me away.
You don't know how to carry the. You don't know how to carry the one. Oh my God. I think.
You should be able to multiply that.
Yeah, exactly. And I just kind of think, well, it is what it is. I'm happy
My gym
for
partner was kind of
sweet
weird.
memories. I'm not.
Yeah,
really,
there's it's
I think, as
there's
worried
just
about the
there was
future
an
as
arrow
other
there,
People are, and I got so many questions
with a few exceptions of like Chowder and Flapjack,
We're gonna get tired of
that
it
it was just
because
barren.
People like people.
It's
You know what's crazy? though?
especially
What just
on
happened this
Nickelodeon.
week, the video
At
game
least
franchise
at least
Call of Duty,
Yeah.
Cartoon
just
Network
fired
had a
5 voice actors and
few
replaced them
bastions
all
in
with
the
AI.
Wow.
Yeah,
the
fired them all.
years
Well,
leading up
it's
to
And they
interesting.
had been in several
2010s.
We had gone to several meetings,
Like,
and we were
on Adult
talking
Swim and
about
such.
having voice actors
Nickelodeon
strike,
was like
and they were gonna
stinky,
just strike
stinky.
everything years ago, and they had this.
And maybe it was just a
one
symptom
kid
of growing
that
up, but it was
stood
just
up,
it just felt like
and
it was so
I know
boring.
his name, I won't say anything.
Was
that
just
said,
bored with it.
I make a lot of money, and I believe they gave him like 100K up front because he was something in some.
Oh yeah, yeah,
huge
Sanjay and Craig. That
And I
one,
said,
I will
"One day
agree, was
you
good.
will be
When did that one
replaced
come out, actually?
by all the free dialogue that you're doing that isn't in the game that they're cataloging." And that's Little Candy telling you that they're banking everything you say from the moment you walk
Yeah, I was
in.
thinking
Now they
2013.
have a library, and he was just released.
But yeah, this was the first show in a long time.
And
I was like,
why?
oh, that's
don't need
on
to.
Nickelodeon,
Did it,
and it's
and
good.
You didn't stand up with us, and
Yeah.
blah blah
Very
blah.
funny,
and
too.
Now you paid in, and you have your pension, and you're in your 40s. You have another 20 years before
Yeah.
you can collect it. I hope we're all here. But I was like, every time you walk in, they I mean, it used to be something at Cartoon Network I didn't dig. Like I'd say, "Don't record
This
us.
show, this
We're
fucking
talking."
B
Like, don't-
bitch.
like, you'd have a weird
Fuck
guy
this show.
who didn't know it, and they were listening in
Horrible
and
show.
recording, and I didn't like it at all. And it was one of the
What a Yo Gabba Gabba. Yeah, no. Though it was cool how they would have music, like known musicians on the show. But other than that, I did not watch it. Danny Phantom? Well, that was Kino. Tate's Choice Awards. Jack's back. The Squeeze Choice Award. Fanboy and Chum Chum. This show was like abominable back in the day, but I think this one may have aged well. In the shit posting era, this show is maybe good. In the light of the shitpost era, this could be a good show. Oh wait, wow. It caused the second recession. Depression of the concession. The Mighty Bee, that's the name. Oosh. Yeah, just nothing basically. Oh yeah, they try to push this show. The Cartoon Network. Chowder, whoosh. Oh yeah, they had nabbed Johnny Test from the WB, which I guess it was a fine show, but maybe another one I was getting too old for. Flapjack at this time, nice. That's 2. Ben 10, of course. That's 3. I didn't watch a whole lot, but that was a really well done show. Really keen. Oh, Super Jail was that year? Nice, nice. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, with Adult Swim on your roster, you can't compete with CN. Total Drama Island was '08? Really? Huh. That show was Kino. That was kind of ugly, and I was kind of reluctant with the show. But it was a very outrageous show. A lot of farting, a lot of throwing up. Just what I like. Hot goth chicks. Hot Asians. Pokemon 3, the movie. Okay, that's enough of that. Class of 3000. Eesh. Oh, that's from 06 to '08. Yeah, that show was fucking gay. You could throw that into the gay era. Because that was not good. Naruto at that time. Oh yeah, Naruto was '06, so say just on the Toonami front, or the whatever the block would be for the anime. It was originally Toonami before that went away. But yeah, they had that. They're hard to beat.
Those, because that's what I said, but what I firmly believe, because we see it every time the technology
non-Asian
swings,
kimchi, yeah.
it never quite works.
It's like a
for
general
medicine, I think it's great for
just a cabbagey fermented
speech therapy,
cabbagey
like, for
flavored
that kind of
cabbage,
stuff, I think it's great.
as it's called.
I've seen the AI commercials. You can tell because
Classic
it feels
flavored.
wooden and mechanical. I saw the robots from Tesla, and I was like, the minute they turn on you, they'll be gone. But I just think that
Big City Greens,
I do
wholesome,
believe
funny
in
so
the
well.
Spirit. I
don't think I've seen it.
I do believe that they will. Somebody said, "Oh, they're going to get better and better." You could tell that was AI. It's going to get better and better. And I said, "Right, but nobody will have any money to be able to buy the things that you're selling because none of us will have jobs. None of us will have jobs. We won't be able to afford our rent. None of us will have jobs."
Yeah,
So-
you would think that the goal is to have them replace like the menial tasks so we can focus more on important things. But you know that's not going to happen. They're going to
No.
be butlers in mansions, and
Yeah.
that's going to be what.
Yeah, you
That's
know,
gonna be what
years
it
ago, I did this thing, and it was called.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that one around.
I think I've said this before, but it was called My Interactive Poo. So
But
right off the
seems
bat, you got the
cozy.
loser. My Interactive what now? It sounds like like Play-Doh. Is that my? Because you know, if you're two, all your poo is interactive.
Right.
Anyway, I'm doing this thing, and it was sort of a talking poo, but it was very sweet. It came out rather well. But at the end of the recording, and I had to say every name in the universe, by the way, every single name. Did I mention every single name? Because it was a lot of
BirdCon.
names. A lot of names.
We're getting BirdCon before SnodCon.
And S's. You wouldn't
It's
think it would-
over.
anyway. But they said at the end, okay, now here's what we're going to do. And they hand me these pages of what are called phonemes. You know what that is? And it's like and st and m and me and ma and mo and then na and I go,
What?
why
What's
would
he
I
saying?
do that again? And in the midst of her genius, she goes, well, this way, see, all you have to do is take these together and put them in the right order, and it gets a new word, and we don't have to bring you back and pay you all over again. And I was, really? And you just said that right out loud. Everybody, you know I heard you.
Right.
I can hear you.
And then what is your position on what can you do? Did you do it?
And the guy from Disney went, and he's thinking, that's the wrong guy. And I said, oh gosh, I don't think I'll be able to. Oh, look, I can't talk. I mean, I can't talk.
Oh my gosh.
So, and I did. I was that blatant. And I said, and I'm looking at him, and he's going,
Oh my God.
yeah.
Yeah, and
But
I
it was
think
for-
that's what they did. They used this kid enough. They paid him, you know, probably
Oh, I'm sure.
$500,000 over 5 years, but they had his library. Every word he's ever said, they can use every call to action, everything that. And I forget what the game was, but I know.
Well,
that
Oh shit! I forgot about the camera.
Yeah, and that's what. And I think that's.
I am
didn't know
now
that they were doing
super
that. And that
tiny.
is, I say this. I say let them.
Guys,
I think it will.
I think I
just
toddler
believe it.
maxed a bit
What
too
is the
hard.
expression? I believe they'll be.
I'm
hoisted
now
by
a
their own
baby.
petards. I believe that this is going to be something that it will be a huge success.
I don't know
but not in the
how I'm
way
gonna
they
reach
think
the
it is.
bong.
I think for I
think
can
if I
tell AI and I
climb,
don't like it. They
I should have a
did it
good
in
chance of,
Moana, where they
getting to
everybody's
it.
saying that it was
me
a
try.
huge smash, and critics hate the movie. The critics
yeah?
don't like it, and I said, I understand why. People love it because the story's great, but the story was created by AI. Everything was created by AI, and I think that the
It wrote it?
Moana
Yeah.
2 was created by AI. Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't see that one.
And I
Damn.
think that they have, I think that, I think Disney is so innovative, they're going to try everything,
Yeah.
and then get good at it. But I think eventually they know who their customer base is and that it has to have warmth. And I think that is what's missing
Yes,
from AI.
it has
It's
to
warmth
be.
and reality. And I'm being honest, I think that it will, the pendulum may not swing all the way back, but I think they need us.
Yeah,
do.
I have faith in that.
I
You
do
know,
too.
I
I do.
because it's Springsteen's song. All that's missing is the.
Well, it's
human
always in the
touch.
presence of
It really
presence
grew. I
and
saw-
proliferation
I
of
don't know
new
if it was during the
technology that
Olympics.
the
Somebody,
old
they
stuff,
rolled
the
out
slightly
2AI,
out of
commercials, and I could
out
tell
of time
right
stuff.
away.
Coca-Cola.
I mean,
Yes,
slightly.
Coca-Cola was one of them, and
slightly
something
old.
else where people were walking down a cherry
Whatever
lane,
is just
and I
barely
was like, this is all AI.
being
This is all and
innovated
because there was
will
absolutely
be looked upon
no
as, oh
warmth.
shit,
And I believe
that
they
has
will
its own
have,
quality that this new thing does
that they
not
can
have.
synthesize voices now, but it's no different than when voice bank went off, and then the guy that bought voice bank was using all of our voices that he had on there to find non-union actors that sounded like
Right.
us. And I actually had coached, which is why I don't coach anymore. I had coached a young girl putting together her demo, and then she went on there as a Candy Milo sound-alike. And I thought, that's great. How you doing? And I had seen her, and I think she is a waitress. But I thought it was
Yeah.
so interesting that I thought, I'm still alive and kicking, and when I'm gone, you can have a daughter who sounds like me, or you can AI me, but nobody cares if you AI me. I'm not a major player. I mean,
Yeah.
and it's so funny. I'm laughing, thinking this all started like, and Dexter, because I had replaced Chrissy Cavanaugh.
Chrissy Cavanaugh, God bless her.
Whoa.
Yeah, and
Goslin, she was my daughter.
yes,
Darkwing Duck's daughter.
and I remember when she left, and they were going to do something with I know, and they were going to do something again to bring her back, and I was saying,
Toddler
"Please
maxing,
just
yeah,
read
yeah,
me.
yeah.
I sound just
Goo
like
goo
her. Please
gaga.
read me." She was a
Oh.
friend of mine. We had both been called back several times for the Roseanne Barr. She was doing a sketch comedy show that she and her husband were at the time. Tom and Tom were putting together, and that's when we got to, because we had the same on-camera agent. We were having a blast, just going on all these weird auditions, and when she left, and they were thinking about doing like a little mini reboot, I was like, "Oh, please see me, because I can do it. Please see me."
Yes.
Yeah,
Roseanne and I had the same birthday. Like
Do you
the
really?
same date.
really.
How about that?
Oh shit.
You'd think we'd hang out or something, but
Yeah.
apparently
Apparently,
no.
you're not a big enough
I'm not
name.
no, I'm not.
Who's yours? Who was born on the same day as you? Everybody
Richard
knows.
Nixon.
Richard Nixon.
And on my
Rich-
birthday, I wrote a letter. Said,
I don't
You
know
were born on the
this
same
Mexican
birthday, not you.
bitch.
yeah, I don't know
yeah,
who's my
just
same
We're not
birthday.
related.
I don't
Get
have
out.
anybody. I do have several January 9th people that I have met over the years who are also left-handed like I am, and which blows my mind. And
That's
then
interesting.
I had found when Gabby got married, one of the girls' mother that were taking the photos, their mother spells her name exactly like I do. My given name is Candace, but my dad spelled it with a Y. And I've never met anybody, and their mother is a Candace with a Y. And I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, that's true.
she has to stop it.
I've
'Cause
never
I'm
met
the only
another
one.
Christopher Judge either.
No.
I actually no, I did one time. I was working on set. One time. I totally forgot about this.
Who gives
I
a
was working on
fuck?
set in Victoria, Canada, of all places, on this miserable shoot. It was called Pup Stars 2. It was an animal movie.
Oh my
all
God.
that like there was like 2 cast members.
That sounds horrible.
And oh god, those days were miserable. Just in the middle of winter, dark days, raining, everything. Anyway, we're doing this like boat scene out in Little Harbor, and so we have like these divers on set. And this guy comes up to me and he was like, "Hey, your name's Chris Judge, right?" And then I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Dude, there's a diver and his name is Christopher Judge." And I was like, "No way."
Oh,
and
wow.
the kicker is he comes up and we're laughing, we're taking pictures together. His middle name is Jordan as well. His name was Christopher Jordan Judge.
What the fuck?
Oh,
And that's his name.
Yeah, exact same name.
my
I was like, this is
God.
bizarre.
That is wild.
Guy
Your
looks nothing like me, no
Oh, no,
family.
so no doppelganger,
no,
just
like,
your-
he's like 12 years older than me,
Oh my
fat
God.
white guy.
That is
Jeez.
wild.
I know. I was like, what? Because that's not like very maybe if he was like
no.
Joe Smith or
Right.
you know like
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah, I actually met 2 Joe Smiths, but only one Christopher Jordan Judge. Well, you're
Yeah,
one
it's
up
weird
on
when
me.
that
Now
stuff
you've only
happens.
met 1 too, so.
Yeah, except
All
for
right.
the man in the mirror.
Is it
That is
time for a
crazy.
voice swap? We have a game that we play. on
We
this.
do.
Okay, tell me about
And you're
this.
gonna love it to death.
Will I though?
It's called the Voice Swapper Extravaganza.
Extravaganza.
So Jim will start off. He'll give you a line of one of his characters, say Winnie the Pooh or Tig or something that they say, and then you'll imitate that line, repeat that line, but in the voice of one of your characters.
Okay.
And then we'll go back and forth, and then you'll do a character, blah blah blah.
Okay,
Sound good?
sound good.
Okay, so. Would you happen to have a smackerel of honey about you?
Would you happen to have a smackerel of honey about you? I like chocolate milk.
Cheese from Foster's Home. Okay.
Okay. Okay, so now you give me one and
all
I'll
right.
do it as someone.
Dee Dee, you are so stupid, woman.
Dee Dee?
Dee Dee, his sister.
Okay. Dee Dee, you are so stupid, woman. You can't even bounce.
Can't even cook.
Okay.
There's no way I could do that voice, but
Yeah.
Who would you say?
The woman makes
conventions,
us think
what do
I'm a
people come
Satanist.
Up to you for the most. What's
I
your
think
character?
there are 3, which I learned, which I'm getting better at these.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm still a newbie. It is Dexter from Dexter's Laboratory, and they're
Good.
fully aware that I didn't create it, but they still ask me lovely.
Sure.
Like where did the voice come from? And when
Well,
I
I
was
wasn't the first Pooh or
yeah,
Tigger.
right, exactly.
yeah,
when I
they've been
said
hitting a stride here.
when I was
'Cause some
struggling
of
with
the-
it, how it was being
Like the idea is
tried out
great.
with me
Is great. You know,
was that
Jim
they-
Cummings
that
doing a
voice acting
podcast,
is like
interviewing
jazz.
other
So
voice
I'm a
act-
jazz
voice
singer,
actors,
Chrissy was
friends.
a jazz singer.
But it was
We
kind of
are-
a-
we're both funny.
like Jim's
We're
not
both
a
jazz
like a
singers, but
super
my jazz is not like
great
her
host.
Jazz, so my pause is.
But he does seem
I
to
got
be
a 4-measure here. I'm
doing
gonna hold that out,
better
then
about,
I'm gonna
um,
stop and come in,
well,
and she was just this way, and so
right now. I see
remember
that
Benny
she's
walking
like
down
clearly
and saying,
dominating
I understand
the show,
that you're
which is
having
good
fun
because you know it's
with
about
Oh,
the
that's where
person being
she
interviewed.
got the voice, and he. I don't know,
And that's a
it was
good way
really
to do it.
wonderful,
The
but I get
the
Dexter
chick
a
who did
lot,
Jimmy
I get
Neutron,
Cheese from
the
Foster's
previous
Home, which is
podcast,
amazing
she
to me
basically
because
did
we had
the
7
same.
years, and he was in
Maybe
4
they
episodes
saw
for
some
7
episodes
years.
and saw
There
how
was something about his quiet
clumsy
specialness,
Wow.
his
the back and
weirdness,
forth
the way
was
he
with
drawn,
Jim.
that it was highly comedic, it was frenetic.
But,
People really love him, and then I get the flea from Mucha Lucha.
Yeah, hopefully they
who
Yes.
was,
do
and
find
was your
a good
friend,
groove
Cheech Marin.
for this
So
show.
when I grew up, they used to play on.
But yeah,
KLIV
Jim's not a he's
in,
not a
Northern
good. He's not
California.
like a Dick Cavett, you know.
Cheech and Chong in full at 9:00 at night.
Wow.
And
But
I
it
had a
is-
twin
it is a
sister,
good
and I
way
was supposed
to,
be in bed.
you know, show
I would listen
the audience,
to
you
old
know,
albums, and sometimes they were
the
blue,
voice
but
actor,
I met my dad.
yeah.
So,
friends.
I would,
And,
I
it's
would
cool
listen
hearing
to
their
it, and I
stories
remember
about
that they did the bit. You know
the
this,
time,
Jim.
or
Dave's not here.
Oh, yeah.
the era
Come to
that
the
they
door
did
and
him.
he'd go,
Oh, yeah.
Hey, it's me. It's Dave. Open the door. It's Dave. Dave's not here, man.
No, man, it's me. I'm Dave.
Yeah, she did the flea, the motherfucking flea.
Dave's not here, man. And they
Yeah,
would go
oh,
back
God,
and
it's
forth.
painful.
That, yeah,
It was like who's
that
on
was a
first?
crazy show.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
I'd like
go
to see
the
if that
audition,
one's somewhere.
and
Yeah, yeah.
I said, and I'm looking at
To
the
see if
lines,
it holds up.
and then
I love even though I wasn't like a luchador or super
I have an
Mexican
idea.
nationalist
And they were like,
kinda
what
kid.
we want is a little
it was
boy
very
voice with a
keen
slight
on just having all the different
Hispanic
superpowers
accent.
go
I was like,
along
I
with the
have no idea.
masks.
I just want
It was like Mexican Pokemon.
I did.
It was like Mexican
basically, that
Digimon.
Dave's not here for that character. And
Oh,
the
that's
flea-
great.
So
It's like the flea wants to tell you, Ricochet, I'm behind you 100%, but I'm way behind you, orale pues. And I just did this, and that voice used to kill me.
That's
So-
a great character.
Thank you. So for
That's
that was
so
Kids
cool.
WB, and
Yeah.
it was the first Flash animation show, so it was very Flintstones
Oh,
with
yeah.
with the same backgrounds
Right,
going.
right.
But but they could whip it out so quickly. They could be in 6 weeks. They could have an episode out, and we were cranking them out. But they couldn't syndicate it because it was so U.S. specific. So I get a lot from the Latino and Hispanic community. What happened? We love that show.
Yeah.
I sell a lot of Flea. I get a lot of Flea gifts, which I love. I sell a lot of Dexter. That's a big deal. And
Sure,
then a
sure.
lot of cheese. And it's so funny because I really lucked into the voice of Granny and like the
Yeah, I was gonna
Wholesome
say,
Kino,
what about
indeed.
Granny and-
yeah, I get very little of that, but I have it's because Warner Brother holds on to the bigger projects that I've done as Granny or Witch Hazel or Miss
Yes.
Prissy, and we do have a film coming out in February.
Oh, okay.
This February, it should be out any day now. It's called The Day the Earth Blew Up, and it's a full-length Porky and Daffy feature. It does have Eric Bauza doing both Porky and Daffy, and I gotta say, it is Mel Blanc.
Oh,
It
yeah,
really-
no,
I
he's
mean,
right there.
He was
He's
on
on
the
it.
show a couple weeks ago
Yeah,
talking
he was
about
on
it.
He's right there, man.
Yeah,
I gotta
he's
tell
good.
you, he's like in the
Yeah.
pocket where you have me laughing out loud,
Sure.
and then I do Petunia Pig, and it so I'm doing all this stuff, but Ketchup Entertainment had to buy it from Warner Brothers. They did a buyout, which was fine with me, but they're hanging on to Coyote v. Acme, which is
Oh,
Coyote
yeah.
suing Acme
Meep,
with
meep.
yeah with John Cena, Will Arnett,
Will Arnett, yeah.
in starring roles, and then I am doing a plethora, but Granny in that is the entire B story.
Oh,
And I was like, oh my gosh. So you'd think that here I am and I had asked our guys at Celebworks, I'm like, why isn't there a
Yo,
Warner
what's up,
Brother
Mr. Anthol? How you
panel?
doing,
Why
brother?
aren't we, like doing why aren't we doing
doing all right
what
today.
we do and let me do Sweetie and like all of this stuff and let me come on with what I'm doing.
We on that
now,
shit weasel
which
game.
is, which is kind of I'm praying that I'm semi locked in. I have to go meet with somebody there to being please at my age, please God, thank you.
I'm knocking on everything.
wait.
else,
So
but-
can you tell us anything about the Coyote v. Acme
So-
that's not out there that nobody
it's not.
knows?
I don't know that it will see the light of day.
No. Like something in the movie that
So,
the public doesn't know
John
about.
Cena was asked to watch a scene that I did as Miss Prissy. So the boys that do Warner Brother Classic,
And she was the little.
She was in love with Foghorn Leghorn. And
Yes,
that was
and
it.
she had
Yeah,
the bonnet.
yes, the bonnet and the glasses. She's a
Oh,
spinster.
gosh.
She's
Yes.
a spinster, and everybody makes fun of her, and she is madly in love with Foghorn Leghorn. So
Oh.
she's a Jew. So she's a juror.
Oh.
in this movie that will never see the light of day. And
She's a Jew? What?
They had to have John Cena. Dave Green, the director, told me because I ad-libbed something. So the boys and that they said they laughed so hard that the audience laughed over John Cena's line, which was so good. So they wanted to bring John in, and they
my
said, "You need to
God.
watch this.
That's ridiculous.
Because this is what she did was gold, but it screws
It
you
does,
over."
does it? Yeah.
But so-
Ego.
yeah, and so he sat down and he watched it,
God.
and I said,
ooh, when he walks in, I'd let him keep my eggs warm anytime.
And he laughed so hard and he said, "Cut my line. Don't you dare
Oh, great.
touch that.
Thank
Cut
God,
my
thank
line."
God.
So
at
that
that.
will never
That works.
see
Nice.
the line. And apparently,
Now I like him even more.
Yeah.
right? And he followed
John
me
Cena
on
knows
Twitter,
about
and he
Keena.
was like, wrote me a DM saying,
Yeah.
you know, I watched it and it was so great. And I was like, oh my God, John Cena, I'm trying to please God. So I will never see the light of day. And then Granny has it's so brilliant and so beautiful. Her B story is she's looking for her husband, and Granny is in the 1940s. Her story is all
John
animated,
China, yeah,
all
yeah.
in the 1940s, all
Gong
on the
dong.
world.
Hot
And
sauce.
then the other thing is in the courtroom, but Witch Hazel is an office assistant. Miss Prissy, every time you cut to her,
Still waiting to do
she
the
says some
Screw
sort of
tape
filthy,
letter
like,
stream.
little-
Yeah.
Got
taking the wrong
derailed
way.
on Friday. You're good,
That's
man.
all she does. That's all you do. You cut, and she's still
Always you
making
down.
blue eyes at John Cena, and then that will never. He is forever my hero.
Hopefully I don't have
think,
practice.
The entire
But that's
crew is
only
devastated.
Fridays and
I
Sundays.
was
And they're
recording-
not.
Everybody's devastated.
Yeah, I'm
Everybody's
devastated.
I mean, it's so damn funny. I
Eric
can't.
Bowser was telling me, not telling me,
Yeah.
telling the podcast that
Right.
he did like 7 or 8 voices on that show.
Yes, we were
Like,
just, and
crazy.
he recorded at home. I recorded at home. I was doing something where I was recording the last day, and that was when they gave me the good news where John was like, "Cut my line, recut it, and leave her." He said that it made him laugh out loud. And then Dave ran, and they were at Abbey Road.
Oh yeah, Saturday.
And the
Let's go.
entire orchestra was orchestrating my heartfelt music. As I
Be
was
there,
talking
be
about
square.
My husband, and I'm like, it's the full London, and we'll never see. But when we went, Gabby and I went. My daughter is Gabby. When we went to this teeny tiny con in Wales, we'd stopped off in London, and we walked up and signed the wall because I sorta recorded there. And then she was like, ring the bell. And I was like, no. And she was like, oh, ring it. Grabs my finger and rings the bell. And I was like, oh, sorry, I was just like my daughter. And they said, no, come in, we have a store. And we went and we bought like a bunch of Beatles. It was so dumb. But it was such a wonderful, and we went
Was
to
it London or
London,
Liverpool?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
London proper, where they
There's
they
Shill
were doing a
Weevil.
lot, and I don't know if Warner Brothers has something. And I've said, you know, I can't pretend to know executives.
That'd be pretty
minds.
funny.
I
Weebles
don't
are
know their
fucking weird,
business
man.
model. I don't know
Just
what
look
they're
one up.
doing. I can't pretend to understand. There must be a reason that we don't know about.
They fucking got long ass noses for burrowing into things, like drilling holes and sucking out the food and shit. Not in a vampiric sort of way. In a uniquely Weevil manner. Look at them. So should Weevil would just do that with like shit? But you don't really need evolution wise, you don't really need something like this for shit. It tends to be pretty soft. The shit Weevil would not be rational. It doesn't make sense. Science will not allow it. It is what Neil deGrasse Tyson dictates. No shit Weevils. Whoa, on a bike? A tricycle, okay. My mistake. Do you know? Weevil Mecha. Oh, there are from video games, Armored Core. It's got the Weevil. Huh. Beetle Mecha. Or Mech. Cool.
But I know that Dave Green, who directed this, is devastated because I'm telling you, as funny as the day the Earth blew up is, Coyote v. Acme is just as funny. And I'm telling you, the day the Earth blew up is butt crack jokes,
Penis Weevil.
butt crack,
Oh,
and
boy.
chewing gum. And that's all.
Wait, does it have like a dick for the Weevil part,
kids 10
or-
and under, literally this
Sure.
is for them. But I think it's
It's a type of bug
Warner
that burrows
Brothers,
into men's
Braunhart,
dicks.
and Alex Kerwan and Derek
And not
Bachman and all
women's
the people,
dicks.
Michael Ruocco, who are
We're all
it's
inclusive in the
absolutely
snot
gorgeous.
sphere,
It's
you know.
stupid. It's
Men's
fabulous,
dicks,
and
women's
it's like,
dicks.
That is what I think because we do
We're all
have
inclusive. You know.
some great stills. I got stills from the movie.
Oh, okay.
And so,
Cool.
and they're like, and what
Pussy
is this?
Weevil.
I was like, wait until February, which is now. Wait until February. You're gonna want
That'd be
this.
a good
Get it
name for a
now,
band.
because I may be out of them, but I
Pussy Weevil.
I think that maybe like.
Patrice O'Neal. Rest in peace. Peace. Sam Kinison. I wonder if we could watch Sam Kinison.
Thank you very much. Hello, London. How are you? Good. Make me feel welcome. Thank you. My name is Sam Kinison, and I like to do this to mic stands. It's, just to see if it is live. I'm a little different than the other comics you're going to see in the other comedy. Difference between me and them is that you might want to see them again sometime. Because I don't have an act.
Hey, this,
I don't have a
this feels
phone.
like my conversations
I
at
don't have a
work.
car. I didn't eat yesterday.
We get straight
I had to
retarded.
borrow these
Hell yeah,
clothes.
bro.
She took it all! I was married for 2 years, and I think someone put a primal scream!
It's a prime way to pass the day at work. Here, have some
I try not to have an attitude
some
about
dudes goof off with.
it. I want to get along with women, you know. But I'm going around, I'm trying to talk people out of getting married if I can. I did it, it doesn't work. Didn't work for me. You ever been married? What's your name? Gary. Well, Gary, if you ever think about getting married, if you ever think you've met the right girl, you want to settle down, get a house, get a car, will you do me a favor, Gary? Remember this face. Because if you get married, Gary, that'll be your face every day. It's the face of every married man when he wakes up in the morning, he gets out of bed, he looks in the mirror, he realizes what he's done, he goes, oh, oh, oh! What did I do to my life? I used to make my own decisions, I remember!
Damn, Perry. Perry straight up
It's true.
stole this.
I was married for 2 years, my life was so boring, I actually worried about my yard. The rest of my friends had goals,
Scare
careers,
Master.
adventures.
Please.
They're out doing things with their lives. I was out there looking for crabgrass, weeds and stuff, going, I've got a responsibility to the neighborhood here to keep a good yard. Yeah, this was my life. I didn't have any kids, though. That's good. That's real hell. You seen those guys with the strollers? The little babies? Have you seen those guys walking the streets? With that look on their face like they envy the dead? It's like... Somebody shoot me! Put a bullet in my head! I don't want to live! Remember that face, Gary? There's only one good thing about marriage. The best thing about marriage is that,
Bone Lokes
These
and
are
Bone
connected.
Rose.
you know what I mean? Men can keep their
Bone
Johnsons.
Locks.
That's
Oh
about
shit,
it.
like grits. Oh shit.
Oh, you don't know that word, Johnson's here, huh?
Instead of cornrows,
You know what I'm talking about?
bone rose.
Winky, as it were. You know what I'm saying, guys?
That ain't my hair, man. That's my
Come on.
skull.
Guess what they did?
Why cut my bones? That shit hurts.
You're married now. You won't be needing that.
Oh, that looks fucking gross.
Take care of that for you.
Especially if it was like under the skin,
If you need it, it'll be my purse or in the refrigerator.
like bone rows under your skin. Ugh.
They would. They go, what? You go out of
Intense.
town with your friends? Well, you can just leave that here. They'll be waiting for you when you get back. It's
They
true, you can see
made
all
me
these guys on the
threads,
phone.
stems, me
They'll be going,
bones,
yeah,
man.
nice. Yeah, listen, I'm not going to be able to go. No, I'm
It's
gonna stay here.
condition. Condition. I've got a
She won't give it to me. I asked
condition.
for it all day.
Where my dreadlock
Yeah, she's upset.
Turns
I tried to
into
sneak out of the house
bone.
with it this morning, and
turns into bone.
yeah, I was halfway out the driveway. She came around the house, and I had to give it to her right there in the street. Okay, I'll ask her. Hold on. Honey, it's the guys. Well, no, they just called to say that they're all taking theirs.
Yeah, man, write that shit down.
I'm just gonna take mine because I didn't want
Do
to
a little
stand out or
notepad.
anything,
File on your phone.
Yeah, she said no way. No, she said the winky stays here. Yeah.
Bone rows.
You guys do me a favor if you see me working on the yard next week and around the house, and we do me a favor? Kill me. Kill me. I'm in hell. Will you shoot me? Poison my food? Run me over with the car? Whatever it takes. I'm in hell. Oh, oh, oh.
There we go.
Remember that face, guy?
Okay. I just put that on because I saw it. I'm not a huge Sam Kinison guy. I guess he was influential for a moment when he did his thing, but that got pretty old fast. Get the poetry made. Les Paul with Chet Atkins,
What a
1996.
pleasure it is to be here with my hero. I never dreamed 20 years ago, when I was 15, whatever it was when we made that album, that I would get to make
20 years.
a couple of albums with Les Paul. I used to listen for my brother, and I heard this great guitar player, and I said, "Who in the hell is that?" And he said, "That's Red." "Who's Red?" They called him Red. Was your hair was red at one time, was it?
Rhubarb red, yeah.
Yeah.
Rhubarb red.
Your hair was really red, though.
It was really red.
You
yeah. I
color-
can't even get that color now.
You color it now. No, anyway.
You ought to get some, Chet.
Anyway, Owen Bradley said one time that I've never heard him play a note in bad taste. And it's true. You know, he's still a great guitar player. Back in the 40s when I used to hear him, he was so far ahead of everybody. It was just amazing. And it's such an honor to be here
Thank
with
you, thank you. Well, it's great to be here. Thank you.
Oh shit.
All
That was a little
Chet,
awkward.
You started out real fine. It's an honor to have you here.
I'm a finger picker, so
You just give it
I'll
help.
do the first part myself because I want it to be done right.
Oh,
This
I
is
got perfect pitch. It don't make any difference.
Let me get my. Yeah, you go ahead. What do you sound like over there?
It sounds good.
I was just gonna say, Chet. I guess Chet is known for being kind of a dick.
Chet, can you hear? Can you hear a little bit? Did you ever hear a Fender? Chet.
I'm busy.
You think he was playing a porno guitar?
You know, when we made that album, he had a good friend that worked with him all the time, Larry London. And he yelled out, "There's just one thing bothered me. It's them goddamn drums." So when I mastered it, I just turned the tape around, and there's only one thing that bothers me. It's them little drums. So you'll hear that in the record.
That's because of the church people.
Joe was 72, Paul was 81. Really?
You can find it at garage sales, folks.
I would have thought they were like the same age. Maybe. Yeah. Even at 81, fucking Les Paul, pretty the top of his game. I'm just going through the the new tab. New to me. It's new to me. Oh, okay, so I did not know this. The guy reading the monologue from "I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream" is the original author. Which I guess since he wrote it, I guess the way he does it, I guess there's more credibility to how it is, but I don't know. I don't think a sentient AI would have like that kind of enunciation of a voice that a human would have, or maybe it would, because it would have been learning on human, but all humans. So, but yeah. Either way, I still can't shake that feeling when that monologue kicks in that it's not right. It's gotta be a monotone, robotic voice. It's gotta be monolithic and creepy. Not so much theatrical. Not trying to convey the hatred. More like presenting the hatred like it's pure fact, pure computer logic, cold. Shake the booty, shake the booty, boop dee boop screw. The Higgs boson. That's not what I would call it. I would change one letter. The first one to the letter N. Oh, now I'm gonna get a whole bunch of fucking Chet Atkins. Which I'm not a huge Chet Atkins guy or a Les Paul guy. I do know of them. Is Anthol here? Yo. Anthol. You wanna show some Mighty Boosh? Host a bit of Mighty Boosh for us, if you may. If you're down for it. If not, another time. But I know we got some East Coast Booshmen that don't get to catch the Kina. So maybe an earlier showing would be cool. I don't know if he's even here right now, but we'll see. No, we can just move to D Live. It doesn't matter what happened. Maze. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what happens. I will never give up the fight. Ganja. Ganja, 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 ganja. Ganja, 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 ganja. You got to get the ganja. Do, 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 do. Three Stooges, I wish. That'd be so Kino. Actually, if anything. Yeah, let's move over to D Live. Hopefully it's not being too weird for y'all. But yeah, let's go into some Three Stooges. Cause why not? And then if Anthol comes back, I could ask him to pull up that bush. Season 3. I think we just got done with the one where the Eels guy comes back. Oh, what a fun time. Eleanor, the tour whore. Eleanor. Alrighty. Cranky James in the chat. And surgery as well. When did I last go live? 13 days ago on D-Live. Huh. I think it's about time we get back on that D-Live game. Thanks for sticking around, Che. Hopefully see you in the D-Live chat. But if not, thank you for chilling. Thank you, Che, Perry, Anthol, Chemo, Scroat, and anybody else. I'll see you there. Peace.